Hello, everybody on every other channel. Welcome. Welcome, Hakim. Welcome, Gina. Austin again. This is Dr. Rao. We are starting our evening hour, a tip a day on wellness, day 12 of my 60 days. Today is joyful journaling. Many people do the journaling as a act of really venting at everything and really being satisfied with that. They may come back to that later to review. But what I would suggest is use it as a tool of reflection. Like, I talked about knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge that's gathered, if it's not reflected and come in action, it cannot be wisdom. Okay, so it's a waste of time, really. So a lot of people spend a lot of time listening or reading or studying so many things, but they never own them because they don't really reflect on them, right? That's something I would really suggest that, there are certain things I'm going to say here that may help you use the journaling much more effectively for our inner growth, right? So just we'll go through the entire thing, starting from what we do normally when we journal and all that, right? And so what is the expanded expression of the joyful journey? And then what are the key take-home points that you can use for practical use? Okay, so that's the structure. I'm putting all these tips in a way, but my own insight into do I journal? No. What I do is I do present moment living, and at the end of it I will do, okay, let me see, a friend is wanted to come, so we'll see. Okay, so usually people write about their day, their emotions, and what was the joy that they experienced in their moment, right? So let me call. So that's a question of spending time, taking time for that. Hi, Ronald.
Hey, how you doing, Dr. Rao?
I'm good. I'm good. As we are doing our regular hour today, and today
I just got home earlier. I just got home. Earlier was noisy, I think, in the background.
Okay. So can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Okay. All right. So we are talking on our wellness tips series. Today we are going to talk about the joyful journaling. Do you journal, Ronald?
I should, but my memory, I think, good enough to where maybe, when I was a little kid, I wrote like a diary for a little while.
Okay.
I wrote certain things, but I haven't really stuck with it, for like any real length of time.
I think it's a good habit to a lot of people, these fast-paced days now that we have with this information age. What we do is we kind of run, and then go to bed exhausted. But I always suggest you take some time off, a few minutes, and then reflect on what has happened the day. So this I call review of reactions in my meditative practices or sleep enhancing practices. I usually tell people go through the entire day in a reverse order, like what happened at the dinner, to evening hour, to the afternoon and the morning hours. What happened? How did you do anything? And then you might have reacted very badly with a friend or with a spouse or children or whatever, right? And you want to reflect on that and see, maybe I should have been easy on them. Maybe I was too harsh on them, something like that. And that.
I can say, I'm just kind of curious where you went to school to become a doctor.
What?
I was wondering what university you went to become a doctor.
Oh, I went in India, in my own hometown, Guntur. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. It's the only town I knew before I came to Chicago, and then Chicago became kind of my second home. You know, so
Yeah.
I'm living near the Chicago, Iowa. I came back to practice here, and then it is closer to Chicago. We always go to Chicago because I know Chicago very well. I lived 8 years there, so I kind of yeah. So I like the northern part of it, the lakeside and all that. So I used to come. Yeah. Let me say some things about this joyful journaling, Karan, okay? Because we kind of want to tell them what is a joyful journaling. See, joyful journaling happens when you can really recollect all the positive things that happened during the day and celebrate them and being grateful for them. And when you are really having something negativity, you can turn it to something positive. That's why at the end of that journaling, you will be filled with joy. That's the idea, right? So whenever we have this experience where we really take a time for ourselves, put a regular time and take some time and focus on the positives, whatever the positives that happened during the day, and then keep it private. Though generally, usually is not a good idea to show to everybody. It's supposed to be your reflections, okay? And then you can use prompts that will help you to really put things in a particular order or particular way that is helpful for you to really understand what has gone and what you can do positive about it, okay? And also uh, really always reflect on the challenges, like you could have handled a situation better than what you have done, and that would be a feedback for you from life, what has happened and how you could reflect on the challenges. And also anything that you have done creatively, like you have seen a scenery and you had a poem, and you have seen something like uh, a beautiful sight, like you went to a playground, heard all the children's laughter that evoked something nice emotion for you. All those things you want to document those creative elements. So practically speaking, what happens is, suppose you have evening reflections that are good for you. Morning time, however, you can use like your intentions, motivations, right? And then you can also incorporate gratitude practice in this, right? Whenever you do that. And also you can do some painting, music, whatever that comes to you by processing emotions through art. So this is a good time for all of that. So there's so many things involved with the joyful journaling. It's not just venting out or purgating whatever we feel, anger and all that. They're okay, but then there's so much positivity that can be built. That's why I said this could be a joyful experience when you journal, right? So that's what I was hoping to convey to you all. The joy factor is not because you have achieved something, but it is inherently within us. So, lighten the burden of the mind releases the joy. Not necessarily negative, even positive, lot of work you want to do that also can occupy you, doesn't allow you to be joyfully silent, joyfully not having any of the what we call vrittis in yoga, that is the movement of thought, modulations of the mind that happens because of your whatever stimuli you had, whatever things that you want to really understand or appreciate and all that, right? So many things come at us during the day. So how focused you are with whatever you're doing, how much you let go everything after you have work done, all those things kind of helped by joyful learning. Journaling is like that. One of the very famous journal that I read, which was very impressive, was Krishnamurti's journal. Okay, anybody has an access to it, please read that. He used to take walks by himself wherever he went to all over the world, except the Russia and China probably. He was in Switzerland, he was in England, he was in United States, he was in Mexico, so many places, right? But he has schools in those countries: United States, India, Switzerland, and England. I know these four for sure, but he may have some in the Japan too, because Japan is very big on Krishnamurti. But his journal was about his walks and what he saw in those walks. And then he described them so clearly, as though we are in front of that garden or in front of the meadow that he was, tree he was describing. It's beautifully put in there. The mind status is something really you got to understand. He has a completely beginner's mind all the time, so he doesn't accumulate. That's why he always lived in silence and expressed his thoughts and everything when he needed, and then he stopped. So that's a good book to read about journaling. Not even journaling; they won't describe you how to do it, but how the mental status of a enlightened person is, and how he describes the things that he has seen or he has experienced. Or some people used to come to him for interviews. What he did during the interviews, all that will be there. Okay. So that's some of the few things I wanted to share with you. It's a big topic, really, but if you want to come and talk to me, that's fine too. You're welcome to come up. Okay. So I don't journal mainly because, as I told you, I don't have to reflect on anything at the end of the day, because I kind of learn to be aware, be silent, and then use my thought whenever I need to use it for communicating or doing some stuff. The one thing I do is that is at the end of that activity or whatever I do as a healer or a physician or yoga person, suppose I teach a class and I tell something about it, and then I try to end that completely at the end of the class. That became a habit, and in the beginning it was a struggle, but then as I persisted and spent the days like that, basically what is called be in the present moment awareness, not thoughts continuing, but present moment awareness, even awareness of your thoughts too. When you do that, you deliberately use thought consciously, and at the end of the activity, you kind of shut it down. And then don't allow it to come. Don't cling on to it. That's the teaching in the yoga is don't cling on things that have already gone or project into the future, because the both are not related to the life here and now. So the more you are present oriented, the more you feel the lightness, and you are not clinging to anything. That's a very healthy state to be. Okay, a lot of mental health problems are because of the thought is let loose and it goes whatever. Suppose you are negative about something or pessimistic, then it feels like I'm being negative and I'm reinforcing the negativity. We don't realize that, and the more negativity on that, it goes into depression. If you are anxious and thinking something ahead and you are really fearful or worry about it, then that becomes anxiety. Okay, various combinations of that happens to the mental illness too. These days, people are given extra incentive to think all the time. That is the information overload. So many things come at us. So many people give us things to think about, talk about. Lots of times, unless there is a crisis or they are going to be punished or something there at work, they don't focus on the work and all that. But if you focus on the work and you enjoy that and you complete the day being completely attentive to whatever you are doing each time, I think that's a very healthy state. Okay. But journaling can be started by people who are overloaded with thoughts and don't have this habit of ending them as they're happening. That's a good exercise to really vent it out, to really purgate it, and to really feel good about reflections and learning what has happened and then putting them in a proper um, perspective, right? If suppose they are the review of reactions I talk about all the time is okay, you have got up in the morning, you exercise yourself to be aware and in the present, and you take that to your work. And then when you are working, you praise each task, not multitask, but each task with complete attention and complete it. And at the end of the day, sit down and review all the reactions, emotional reactions, or happy or sad, whatever you had due to encounters that happened during the day and through the evening. Just reflect on them and review them. If the reactions are very trivial, you don't have to even hold them on, dump them. If your reactions are very important for you, you need to follow career wise, relationship wise, important things like that. Then write them down and then eliminate from your mind and go to sleep. This is a very good practice to increase the quality of your sleep. Okay, but it takes a real good effort in the beginning, and then later on it becomes easier. I've been doing it for years, so it is with a few minutes I get everything established. Okay, I don't even carry anything from the day, so uh, when you need it, we can always refer to the EMR and all. I don't need to remember everything. Okay, especially not related to my work, not related to something important. Uh, I don't have to retain all the gossip, all the political news, all the economic news, and all of that. Right? So it because I value silence of the mind. So if you value that, this will be one way to do that. But when you exercise this silence before sleep, the sleep will be much more quality. The two things are important: attention to everything during the day and review of reactions just before you sleep. And you do that and see how your sleep quality improves in the time. Even if you sleep few hours, you sleep pretty deep and you wake up with a lot of energy. That's the testament. Okay, you don't need any sleeping pills, you don't need any alcohol and all that. Okay, so progressively your system gets used to that and then you sleep very well. Okay, so anybody interested to talk to me about anything on this matter, you can come up. Okay? Ronald, you can come up to earlier. You had to go because I was finishing the talk. These tips are going to go on for another. I said altogether 60. We have done 12, so 1/5 of it is already done. We're going to do them on weekdays at 8 o'clock after my day is done. It's convenient for me to sit down and talk to people. And um, now I'm having my dinner and coming here, so I can stay here for a while, and then I can complete it on weekdays. So weekends are available for us for family time. So works out pretty good. Okay, these wellness tips are compiled so that people don't have too much of it. But then I always want to give what is my perspective through ancient wisdom. Okay, uh, they had these practices because they didn't have anything to write about at that time, way back thousands of years ago. So they whispered into the ear of the student. The teacher whispered slowly into the ear of the teacher, and the student is supposed to remember all that. And then he remembered. That's why their memory was pristine, very, very good, and then they didn't go and write down anything, but they just remembered that and repeated it. By repeating, they got the text of it very much. For centuries this was the practice. So they were very careful, very attentive to what the teacher is saying, and that's why they had a lot of respect for teacher, because he is revealing a lot of secrets to wisdom. And after the people are putting it on the paper, a lot of people lost the need of the guru or teacher like that, and that the respect has gone down. And nowadays it's all available all over. But then you may still need somebody who is gone through that and spent the years and then understood a lot of intricacies, and they may have to explain to you. Okay, first of all, you should be interested in these deeper topics, and next you have to engage in your own self-inquiry, and then you have to stop and listen to your own conclusions or your own truths that you have found. So that has become very tough in modern times, because people are driven by what they are doing, but they never pay attention to who they are, what their being is. Some do, but not all. Many don't, that is for sure. And this technology and all that is supposed to be our tools. We should not be slave to that. That's my approach to technology. I do use a lot of technology, but I always stand apart, like this is my tool, so I can leave it and be silent completely. That's a good thing, I think. And I'm an informatician, but I do work with a lot of informative stuff, but it's all a tool for me. And then I can spend my time reflecting, meditating, thinking on these things on my own. Okay, that's the practice was forced upon the ancients, because they didn't have anything to document. Many good teachings were lost because they were not documented. They were transmitted from generation to generation. Okay, there are a big text called Upanishads. That means you have to live closely, and you have to sit closely to the teacher who will whisper everything to you in your ear. That's the name of that. And they become pretty standard wisdom books in ancient India. Okay, so many books are written on that. For example, Bhagavad Gita, the famous Hindu text, that's all based on Upanishads. Okay, all right. I hope you will have a good time journaling and joyfully journaling and enjoying the experience. And you will enjoy it as you see the results in your life down the line. Okay. So simply documenting, forget about everything, and then going back, that's maybe not using the journaling to the ability that it could do good for your inner self, for your meditation, for your cleaning of the mind, for your energy elevation, so many things, and also help you with a good sleep also. Okay, so happy joyful journey for all of you. And if anybody wants to come up, I'll stay for a couple of minutes. Otherwise, I'll close it down. Generally, I don't really encourage people to do the journaling and forget about it. But documenting, reflecting, and really making that actionable items of the truth, that really does transformation. See, I'm not for just repeating stuff and being clever or really argumentative. That has no use. But if that truth transforms you from one thing to the other, because a lot of people are not taking care of their health or creating their wealth, and then they don't really go to this deeper stuff, and then they always look for somebody else. But the somebody else can only guide you. You got to take the steps. You got to walk your walk, then walk your talk. That is then you'll be pretty much really getting the benefit of the transformation. See, religious practices, all those things have also become more like a transactional, not transformational, right? They don't elicit change in your inner self, but more like in India, I know a lot of religious practices, even in this country, they are worshipping to God because He has to protect, He has to have good life and all of that. So that's the transaction. I'm going to come and pray, and then you have to give me this. That kind of these truths have become that kind of silly affairs. But spirituality, religion leading to spirituality, for me, is about transformation. In you, you are the witness. What's happening within you? Are you truthful? When you are saying you are truthful, that's a transformation. If you are not, you do it because you are the witness to your own inner self. Be honest. You don't do anything. That's what they say, but a lot of people don't know how to do the transformation. So this joyful journaling can be a reflection of what's going on, and then improvising them on a daily basis, not neglecting the reflection. That's a very important thing. Okay. Okay. Somebody coming, we'll talk to them. Hello, Taylor. You are muted, Taylor. Taylor Perry. You want to unmute yourself to speak? Hello? Hello? You want to go out and come back because you are muted? I can't hear you. Hello? Okay, I can't hear her or him. Okay. All right. I will see you again tomorrow. Another tip on wellness, and hopefully you like that too. Thank you. I'll see you.